in the shop trying to practice and work on my CA finish for pens. So I have this pen here that we're going to finish in this video, and I failed 4 or 5 maybe times to actually get a decent finish on this pen. I've been working on this pen. It's a commission piece. Been working on it for a very long time now. I turned it months and months and months ago. We moved, had to get the new house set up, a lot of work on the new house, didn't have my shop set up for a long time. My shop is a mess, it's a complete disaster, but I got the lathe set up here, I got some tools hung on the wall so I can at least do some turning, and I decided to pull this pen back out, and I had no end of trouble with the finishing. The finish kept flying off, kept coming off it, wouldn't stick. I would sand through it while trying to polish it. I think some of my products, I'm using a CA finish. I think some of my CA glue was actually bad, or it froze, or it's old, or dried up, or something of that nature. I don't know. I had some problems. I tried the boiled linseed oil finish with the CA glue, and that sort of worked, and it sort of didn't work. So I spent this video exploring a couple different options about how to make this finish work well, specifically for this pen, but in the end I came to a process that I believe is going to work well for this and future projects. So this is sort of a documentation of that, along with my interesting journey and how I got there. At the same time, at the very end of the video, I did record the assembly of this pen. So if you've never seen a pen assembled, or if you're curious how that works, watch the video to the end or skip ahead to the end if you don't want to see all the fails, and you can see how I assembled these pens using the homemade pen jig, pen assembly jig press that I made, hence the homemade. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one. What we have here is a project that's been on this mandrel for a very, very long time. This is a project for a customer that I made a pen like this, and he somehow lost it and now would like it replaced. And some hot stuff super tea, some boiled linseed oil, got a couple of blue paper towel scraps, and we're going to go to town. I got my dust mask on, my face shield on, and let's go. Now, only this sweet and proves that the it's not the real food. Starting to worry. Let's have a look and see. I think we burned through. Yep, sure did. Okay, we're going to attempt, I don't know, 4, try number 3, try number 4, something like that, to get a decent CA finish. Had some problems last time. Finish wasn't sticking, finish wasn't going on thick enough. I tried a couple different techniques, nothing worked, so we're going to try something a little different. Changing products, I'm going with try the Tight Bond Thin. I'm trying this bottle mostly because it's got a screw-off lid and it actually seals, so hopefully it will not thicken in the jar, which is what I think was happening with my other one. We're also trying the thin, in the hopes that with the BLO, the boiled linseed oil, it'll flow a little better. I'm still using the same boiled linseed oil, but I've got myself a new container. It's got a screw-off lid also, and a little dropper inside, so I can administer individual drops more easily. So hopefully, a combination of figuring out the process and perhaps a new product will help. So, got to suit up with my all-important safety equipment. first and foremost, respirator. Always wear one of these. This stuff is nasty. And of course, you never do anything without good eye protection. And when you're working with something like CA glue, you don't want this all over your face. Get a face shield. They're not expensive. Well, that already looks better. The finish is smoother. It's got a few ridges, but it already looks better. So we're gonna try this technique out now. I think the game plan here is we let this dry, let this cure on its own. We don't use any accelerator. Don't try to rush it. Just let her dry. So. This stuff should dry pretty quickly, the thin. No, it's not quite dry yet. It's still a little smudgy, so I might cut out a little bit as we wait for it to dry. But so far, it's looking promising. So I explained this in the last video, which you're probably not going to get to see because it was a major fail. I have micro mesh sanding pads that I like to wet sand with, and I soak them in water with just a little bit of laundry detergent. It's a little sudsy, but it's only a couple drops. So I feel that really helps with keeping the pads clean. I have a cheat sheet for the grits, so I don't have these memorized. If I call them off, it's coming from the cheat sheet. Believe me. I'm going to put these off to the side because I don't want them getting contaminated from all the goo coming off. So, I'm going to talk about face shields. Start off with rust. I have it. Already rusted. Trigger those orders. This orders. Then green. This target. Then black. Like order. That's it. There's one. Another black anyway. All right, let's stop it. Wipe it off. Oh, jeez. Not showing you all of these smooth. It's not come soon. Soon enough. All right, so let's next white brown. It's 3600. And teal 4000. Purple 6000. Now, you notice I always stop the lathe before using the towel to dry. You never, ever, 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 ever put cloth to a piece while it's running on the lathe. If the cloth catches and wraps around there, what's it going to do to your fingers? Right? Paper towel, if that catches and wraps around there, it's going to rip. You're safe. That's why I use paper towel on a running lathe, and you never use cloth on a running lathe. Always stop it first. Well, there's some goo in there I don't really like, guys. It's looking like a nice finish, but it's got some goo underneath. I think we may have gooched this guy. Alright, I'm back. I worked my way up through the grits. I landed on 1500 grit. I dried it off really good. I sprayed it with some accelerator to use as a solvent to try to get any extra goo off of it. I then went over it with some BLO while the lathe was running with a paper towel, and I really worked it in there and put some friction on there to make sure she set. And it looks really good. I don't see any of those lines, no scratches. It's smooth. It's a nice deep color. There's no white stuff in there, so we're going to go ahead and start over. We're basically almost down to wood. We're down to wood through most of it. There's a little spot right here maybe, that's still got a little finish out of it. We're pretty much down to wood, so time to start over. Yeah, 1300. Line around for 6. Deal 4000. Red blue, 8000. And last one, great, 12,000 grit. Yep, I am through to the wood. A little bit. Just a teensy tiny little bit right there. Maybe a little bit right there too. So we might be looking at a couple more coats. Okay, so in the spirit of experimenting, I just tried something new. A different video that I had seen. I think I like this technique the best. I take my paper and I rip it in half so it's smaller, because I'm only going to use a little bit. And I'm getting a really thick, heavy, shiny, smooth, not terribly smooth, a little ripply, but you can stand that out. Really shiny, really thick coat though this way. So I'll explain to you what I'm going to do before I put my mask back on. We're going to take and we're going to drip 3 drops on the cloth and quickly go from one end to the other, set the cloth down. Take some accelerator. Spray a real quick mist. I'm not sure I need that yet. I haven't really experimented enough to know if that's necessary or not. Then move on to the next cloth. 3 drops in the middle. Go from the other end. Across, set it down. Those are done. They're junk now. Throw them away. Hit it with accelerator again. It seems to be building very fast, very quickly. I'm not having to wait back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with BLO and wait for it to dry and all that. So I'm going to show you how this, I think I've got enough on here now, but I'll put 2 more coats on just to show you how this works. So that last coat I skipped the accelerator, and you can see immediately it's dry. I can't touch it. I can touch it. It's not sticking. I'm not sticking to it. So I'm not sure the accelerator is needed in between coats. But it's the first time I've used this technique. Haven't been a big fan of it in the past. I haven't seen too many people that I would say I respect using it. So I don't know that I've even really given it time of day let's try sanding this guy up. Let's just hit straight to the 1500 and see how it does. I might need to step down to 600 to get some of these ripples out. Let's try the 1600 and see what we got. Oh. Safety first. See? Getting fast, getting careless. That's close. I think I like the 1500. I think it's just going to take a little bit more, so. So the nice thing about this is those little ridges are super shiny, so I can see when they're gone because I can still see that they're little shiny spots, which tells me it's not completely flat. So I can keep sanding until those little shiny spots are totally gone. Really close now. We're good all the way up here. We got a little bit right here. We're good here. We got a little bit here and a little bit there. So almost done with this. There we go. Oh, there's a tiny little bit. I might just... Oh, there's a bump. Let's see if we can't get that out of there. There we go. Get that out of there. Now I'm going to hit it running just a little bit right there to flat spot. Hope I didn't go through the wood. There we go. That feels smoother. I think we're good there. Alright. So let's run up the grits. Hopefully we can just hit them real lightly and not burn through again. Ten. White. Teal. Purple. Purple is not one. Looks great while it's running. Oh, it looks great. Great. Look at that. No burn throughs. It's very flat. I like this technique, this new technique. I think this is my winner. Royal Blue. And finally, 12,000 grit, gray. That is spectacular. Spectacular. I don't see any defects, anything I don't like. I'm liking this whole thing. Okay. So now, final step that I like to do, not that I do this all that often because I seem to fail a lot, hit it with some hot ultra gloss plastic polish, because this is essentially plastic now, right? It's acrylic. It's an acrylic finish over wood. So we're going to hit it with some of this just to buff out that last little bit of shine. That absolutely shines. That is a perfect finish. I love it. Finally we have victory with the finish. So I think I'll move over and reset up the camera. Maybe we'll show you some assembly. I'm going to assemble this pen this morning. So victory, folks. We got it.